Hello, dear students. Let us start with the new chapter from Unit 2, Section 2, The Canterville Ghost. It is written by Oscar Wilde. So, this story, The Canterville Ghost, is a humorous, funny kind of short story by Oscar Wilde. The author pragmatically molded the story into horror comic. When you see the title, okay, you may think that it is a scary ghost story like other stories you have heard about ghosts, but when you will go through the story, you will find it very interesting and not scary at all. It is a kind of funny story of ghost. It was the first of Wilde's story to be published, appearing in two parts in the Court and Society Review. It is a British literary magazine on 23rd of February and 2nd of March 1887. So the short story, when I say it is not as short as it is given in your book, it is a big story only, but shorter than a novel. It is divided in certain chapters. When actually you will go through this story in Google, okay, when you will search about this, the Canterville Ghost, you will find it very big story it is. And also you can see the movie related to this, the Canterville Ghost, in YouTube also. I will share the link. So in your book, the story is given in an abridged form. Abridged means the story has been made short, some of the parts are removed. Only the main, just the funny part is given in this story. Okay, some of the parts are given for you so that precisely you can know about this story. But actually it is very long. Let us see the summary of the whole story, the real story of the Canterville Ghost. The story begins when Mr. Otis' family shifted to Canterville Chase. Despite many people gave the warning, even the Lord Canterville, the owner of Canterville Chase, gave the warning that this house is haunted. But the Otis family said that we don't believe in such things. Okay, we will buy the house. The Otis family includes Mr. and Mrs. Otis. They have three sons and one daughter. Two of their sons were twins, the daughter named Virginia, and the eldest son's name was Washington. At first, none of the members of the Otis family believes in ghosts, but shortly after they moved inside the Chase, none of them can deny the presence of Sir Simon the ghost. The family hears clanking chains, then they witness reappearing bloodstains. So bloodstains reappeared every morning whenever they remove it, but again the next morning it appears again in the library, the bloodstains. And then they heard some noise about the chains, clanking of the chains every night. So they can't deny the fact that there is no such things. But humorously, none of these scared the Otis. Okay, with all such things, the family of Otis did not get disturbed. They did not get got scared. In fact, upon hearing the clanking noises in the hallway, Mr. Otis promptly gets out of bed and pragmatically, in a very practical manner, offers the ghost lubricator to his chains. Okay, he gave him the Tammany oil as a lubricator for his chain so that sounds could not be produced. The Canterville ghost in the real life committed a terrible crime. Sir Simon, the Canterville ghost, the ghost of Canterville Chase, in real life he committed a terrible crime, and the crime was he killed his own wife because she was a bad housekeeper. He was punished for it by his wife's brother, who locked him up to starve to death. The ghost has successfully haunted. So, after his death in that room, where he was locked. The ghost means Sir Simon. He has successfully haunted Canterville Chase for hundreds of years. But the Otis family from America proved too much for him, because this was the first family in his 100 or 200 years of haunting that this family can't be scared from his all those tactics. So, with their practical solutions to all ghostly manifestations and the terrible twins who torment him until all he dares to do is creep around the house as quietly as possible. So finally the ghost confesses his problem, that why can't he leave that chase. Okay, he confesses his problem to the daughter of the Otis, that is Virginia, and she helped him to find the eternal rest at the end. So now we will see the story as it is given in your book. The Canterville Ghost. A ghost tries to frighten the new occupant of Canterville Chase. So when Mr. Hiram B. Otis, the American minister, okay, he wanted to buy a house a, in a countryside. So he found a Canterville Chase, but the owner of that Canterville Chase, before he sell his house to Mr. Hiram B. Otis, he told the fact that this house is haunted. And many people, almost everyone around there, told him that he was doing a very foolish thing. That is, you are buying a haunted house that is haunted by a ghost. There was no doubt that the place was haunted. Haunted means it is believed to be visited by ghosts. Lord Canterville himself, he felt it is his duty to mention the fact to Mr. Otis before he bought the house. But Mr. Otis knowingly he bought the house because he don't believe in such facts like ghosts exist. When they arrived at the Mr. Otis, however, laughed at the warning and bought the house. A few weeks later, he, his wife, their son Washington, their daughter Virginia, and their twin boys moved to Canterville Chase. So he, with his family members, moved to Canterville Chase, where when they arrived at the house, an old woman was standing on the steps to meet them. And that old woman was the housekeeper of that house, that is Mrs. Umney. So this was Mrs. Umney, the housekeeper who had worked in the house for Lord and Lady Canterville. So she said, "Welcome to Canterville Chase," and she took them through the house to the library where the tea was waiting for them. So after they had taken off their coats and hats, they sat down while Mrs. Umney poured the tea. Suddenly Mrs. Otis caught sight of dull red stain on the floor just by the fireplace. As you can see on page number 42, a picture is given where there is a red blood stain. So Mrs. Otis caught the sight of dull red stain on the floor just by the fireplace. "I am afraid something has been split there, Mrs. Umney," she said. To Mrs. Umney, Mrs. Otis said that something has been split there. So she said, "Yes, madam," replied the old housekeeper in a very low voice. "Blood has been split on the spot." So she said that is blood. blood has been split on the spot. In a very low tone, she said this. How awful! Awful means very bad or unpleasant. So, how awful! Cried Mrs. Otis. I don't care at all for bloodstains in a sitting room. So, Mrs. Otis, she doesn't want that any kind of stain, and that too of blood she doesn't want in the sitting room. So it must be removed at once. So she gave the order that it must be removed at once. The old woman smiled and answered in a same low, mysterious voice, it is the blood of Lady Eleanor of Canterville, who was murdered on that very spot by her own husband, Sir Simon of Canterville. So now Mrs. Umne, she is saying that this is the blood stain of Lady Eleanor of the Canterville, who got murdered by her own husband, that is Sir Simon of Canterville, in 1575. And after that, after murdering his wife, Sir Simon disappeared for 9 years later, and his body has never been found. So after murdering his wife, he got disappeared, and after that his body has never been found. His guilty ghost still haunts the chase. So the ghost of Sir Simon, who is very guilty of murdering his wife, so as a ghost he still haunts the chase. The bloodstain has been admired by the visitors to the house and it cannot be removed. So Mrs. Omnish said that this bloodstains can't be removed. That is all nonsense, cried Washington Otis. So the eldest son, he said that that is all nonsense. Pinkerton stain remover and perfect cleaner will clean it up very quickly. So before the housekeeper could interfere, he had fallen on his knees and was rubbing the floor with a small stick. So the Pinkerton's stain remover was a kind of a small stick, and with that he started cleaning the blood stain. In a few minutes the blood stain had disappeared. So I knew Pinkerton's would do it, he cried. So Washington said that I knew that this stain cleaner would do it. As he looked round at his admiring family, but as soon as he said these words, a terrible flash of lightning lit up the room. So when he did that, when he cleaned that floor, and after he said that this stain cleaner would do it, I knew that. So after that, the terrible flash of lightning lit up the room. A fearful crash of thunder made them all jump to their feet, and Mrs. Umne fainted. So after all this, Mrs. Umne fainted. In a few minutes, however, she was able to sit up. There was no doubt that she was very unhappy, as she warned Mr. Otis that trouble could come to the house if he will do any kind of thing, if he will try to remove the stains. I have been see I have seen things with my own eyes, sir, she said. Things that would make your hair stand on end with fright. So she said that I have seen many things here, and the things, if you will listen to those things, you will get frightened. So many nights I have not been able to sleep for the awful things that are done here. Mr. and Mrs. Otis, however, told her that they were not afraid of ghosts, and she at last went slowly out of her own room. The storm blew fiercely. very strongly in a very frightening manner, like in the ghost movies you have seen, all that night. The next morning, when they came down to take breakfast, they found the terrible stain of blood once again on the floor. So I don't think it can be the fault of the perfect cleaner, said Washington. I have tried it with everything, it must be the ghost. He rubbed out the stain a second time, but the second morning it reappeared or appeared again. It was there again on the third morning. So, whenever they clean that stain, then the very next morning it appears again. So, the third morning, again on the third morning, though the library had been locked up all night by Mr. Otis himself and the key taken upstairs, the whole family was now quite interested in knowing what is the matter. The stain is appearing again and again. That night, so on the third night, that night they all went to the bed at 11 o'clock. And by 11:30 all the lights were out. Some time later, Mr. Otis was awakened by the curious noise in the corridor. So, corridor is a long, narrow passage in a building with doors that open into rooms on the either side. So, he heard some curious noise outside his room in the corridor. It sounded like the rattle of metal and seemed to be coming nearer every moment. When the metal struck to each other, the noise they produced, that kind of noise, he was listening, and it seemed like it is coming nearer and nearer every moment. He got up at once, struck a match, and looked at the time. It was exactly 1 o'clock. The strange noise still continued. With it, he heard the sound of footsteps. So, light went off. So, with the candle, he was trying to see that what it is. So, the strange noise still continued, and he heard the sound of footsteps with it also. He put on his shoes, took a small bottle out of his case, and opened the door. Right in front of him, he saw, in a pale moonlight, a terrible old man. His eyes were as red as burning fire. Long grey hair fell over his shoulder. His clothes were old fashioned, dirty, and ragged. Ragged means old and torn. Heavy chains hung from his wrists and ankles. So here all these things is described about how the ghost looked like. So, my dear sir, said Mr. Otis. So Mr. Otis said to him, my dear sir, I really must insist on your putting some oil on those chains, because that was making noise. So he promptly, most pragmatically, he said that, my dear sir, I really must insist on your putting some oil on those chains. I have brought you a small bottle of Tammany Rising Sun oil. I shall leave it here for you by the bedroom candles, and will be happy to bring you some more if you need it. So he laid the bottle down on the table and, closing his door, went back to bed. So Mr. Otis, he did not got scared with the ghost, seeing ghost in front of him, and instead he offered him a oil to put on his chain so that it don't make any kind of noise. So he kept the bottle down and closed his door and went back to bed. For a moment the Canterville ghost stood quite still. So Canterville ghost was thinking, what just happened? Why can't he got scared by seeing a ghost near to him? Like other people's, they get scared. So what just happened now? He offered me the oil and he went back. Then he threw the bottle upon the polished floor and ran down the corridor, making low groaning noise and glowing green. So groaning noise to make a deep sad sound because you are in pain or to show that you are unhappy about something. And the light around him changed to green color. In the darkness, just as he reached the top of the great oak staircase, a door opened. As you can see in the picture, a door opened. Two little children, the twin sons of Mr. and Mrs. Otis. A door opened. The two little children, dressed in white, appeared with a pillow, flew past his head. So, with a pillow, flew past his head. They threw a pillow. There was no time to be lost, so he disappeared through the wall, and the house became quiet and quiet. So, on reaching a small secret room, the secret room where the ghost lives, he leaned against a moonbeam to get his breath back. Never in all his 300 years of haunting had anyone been so rude to him. So, by going back to his secret room, he was trying to get his breath back and started thinking that never in his 300 years of haunting has anyone appeared like that. They are not scared of ghosts. Instead, instead the ghost scared by their behavior. So never in all his 300 years of haunting had anyone been so rude to him. He thought of the Duchess, whom he had frightened badly, and she stood before the as she stood before her mirror in her lace and diamonds. He thought of the four housemaids who had screamed when he had smiled at them through the curtains of one of the spare bedrooms. Then there was the man whose candle he had blown out as he was on his way from the library and who had been ill ever since. So he started remembering all those who came to this house and how they got scared, frightened by seeing him. So the housemates, they got scared when he, in a spare bedroom, the bedroom which was not in use, from the curtains of that bedroom, he smiled. So they got scared. One man, he blew the candle of that man when he was passing by the library, and since then he is ill. So he started remembering all such things. And now, after all this, some awful Americans, very bad Americans, had come and had offered him the rising sun oil and had thrown pillow at his head. It was too awful. So besides, no ghost in history had ever been treated in this manner. So I started thinking that no ghost in the history of ghost history has ever been treated like I got treated today. So he started feeling very bad. Okay, this story is that much in your book, but it is a lot more. How he got eternal peace at the end, how the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Otis helped him to get eternal peace at the end, to go to his afterlife after the death. So you can find all these things on the Google or in YouTube also. You can find there are many films made on this title, The Canterville Ghost. Thank you.